we go and get started, Maria? Or I guess that are here.
I think some people might trickle in and join us, but yeah, I think it's a good idea for us just to go ahead and get started. So, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We have with us our Deputy Town Manager, Brandon Zudema. He's going to talk about our proposed plans for the new town center. And we have several representatives from our partner in Sing. I'll let everybody introduce themselves briefly, and then Brandon's going to go ahead and give us a brief presentation, and then everyone will be able to ask questions. You are able to unmute yourself when you need to ask a question. If you prefer, you can drop it in the chat. It's totally up to you. But I'll go ahead and hand it over to the presenters to introduce and get started.
Money?
Sorry, Brandon, are you asking me to get started?
Yeah, if you want to just introduce yourself and a little bit about perhaps the company.
Oh yeah, so I'm Money Graywall. I work with Sing Development Company. It is a family-owned and operated business. With me here is Todd Rankin, who is our lead director of planning and architecture and has worked with Sing for about 15 years now. We are real estate developers based out of Michigan originally, but we've been in North Carolina now since 2005. We do development, construction, management of our entire portfolio. We're long-term holders of all of our assets, so we build stuff and we hold on to it for decades and decades. We don't have any outside equity partners. It's just owned and operated from Sing funded equity on all of our projects. In North Carolina, we do senior housing under the brand of Waltonwood. We presently have 2 communities in Raleigh and 2 in Charlotte, 1 in Virginia. We are also well underway in construction of a multifamily community, townhome style community in Cary at the corner of Cary Parkway and Evans Road called the Griffin. We are very excited about doing and working alongside the town and developing the Morrisville Town Center, not only because it's just generally an exciting project and opportunity, but also because we are residents of Morrisville. I live in Morrisville. My kids go to Morrisville Elementary School. I've lived here now for over 10 years, and other members of our team also live here. So we're really excited to be part of an exciting growth opportunity in our own neighborhood, and the council and the mayor and the planning and all the different groups and parties at Morrisville have just been phenomenal to work with and been really integral in making this project come to fruition. We're happy to be part of the team.
Thank you, Money. So I'd also like to welcome or recognize our Mayor Pro Tem, Liz Johnson, who's with us tonight. Thank you for being here. I got the nod. That might be.
Thank you, Brandon, and I'm happy to be here, and I welcome everyone on the call tonight too.
So again, want to thank everyone for being here. I'm going to walk through a quick presentation, and then again, as we go through that, feel free to chime in with a question either by opening up your microphone or by using chat, and then we'll certainly do Q&A again towards the end of this. I'm going to share my screen to show you a presentation. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let's move through this. So as a little bit of background, the Morrisville Town Center has been considered for probably more than 15 years. And actually the first adopted plan for the town center was in 2017. So about 15 years ago, this really was formalized by council as something that they wanted to see realized in town. And again, they established 5 guiding principles back in 2007, and then reaffirmed those same in 2020. And those focus around the idea of making sure that this is a mixed use development that meets the nature and character of the town. It preserves our small town feel that we still have, links our community. So we're going to talk a little bit about multimodal transportation, all the different ways you'll be able to get to and from the town center. Establishing recreation and open space opportunities. We consistently hear from the community that more green space would be great, and we're working on that. And then also connectivity to the Healthy Food Hub, which has been included as a component of this project as we move forward. So to give you some reference, this is the boundaries of the town center. So the full project that will be realized hopefully over the next few years is 25 acres. And that project is bordered by Church Street, and then by Jeremiah Street, by Town Hall Drive, and then sort of an imaginary line from our Fire Station 1 over to First Baptist Church, so right in that area. So that total is about 25 acres. The project that we're dealing with now is phase 1, and that is about 11 acres, and that's highlighted in the yellow on the screen. So a small portion there. And the reason that we're doing 11 acres, there's a couple reasons for that. One is that we currently control the properties in that area, so we don't need to impose on anyone. We don't need to do anything about purchasing. We control those. And then also, again, one of the reasons that Sing is our preferred development partner is that when they brought this forward, they showed us the opportunity to develop a town green in phase 1. And that was a big win, I think, with our council and certainly with staff, that if we could deliver a town green immediately, that would also help with us growing this project. So I sort of laid out where those boundaries are. Going to skip through that. What we're trying to accomplish with this phase 1 of the project is to really create a destination and a downtown. And those of you that have grown up in Morrisville or have been in Morrisville for a while know that we've never really had a downtown. That's just not the way Morrisville grew. But so we're going to create one. And we're creating that as a destination, not just for our residents, but also for visitors and small businesses. We want a place where people can eat and shop and play and enjoy the outdoors that we're going to create there. This town green is going to be an important part of athletic, cultural, and recreational activities for everyone. And then again, as we've said once, and you'll hear again, a lot of connectivity. So when this project is done, you will be able to access it by car, on foot, by bike, by smart shuttle, by a lot of different means that'll bring you there via either our roadways or our greenway network or our smart shuttle. All will get you down to the town center and be able to access that easily. So we are doing this, again, as a public-private partnership with our partner, Sing Development, LLC. And our investment in this project is going to realize what you see on the screen here, that town green, a retail plaza that we'll talk a little bit about, an amphitheater so we can do even larger concerts and performances, some boutique or cottage retail. We're going to have an expanded area for the farmers market, the Western Wake Farmers Market, and also town special events. You probably have seen a lot of those that have occurred on Town Hall Drive, and we're going to shift them just up the street a little bit and move them into the town green and into the town center. This will include a parking deck that I will let our partners with Sing talk to you a little bit in a few minutes, and then also multifamily and townhome residential, again, aiming for that mixed use where people can live and can work and can play. So this is the current model. Let's see if I can zoom that in at all. I don't know that I can. There we go. So I'm going to show you starting up on sort of the top right here. So for reference, this is Jeremiah Street. This is Foxglove Drive. This is the Town Hall traffic circle. And number 5 is the public library. And then over beyond here, you'll see where the Healthy Food Hub and the Education Garden are. And then some of our town offices start here. So just as a point of reference. So as we go through this, I'm going to talk to you primarily about what's in this lower portion, which is the town green area. And then I'm going to also turn it over to Sing to offer some feedback about what they're doing with the retail and the multifamily on the other side of Carolina Street. But we as the town are really excited about the opportunity to build this town green area. It's going to be about 4.5 acres. And so that'll be sort of in the center of the project here. And then we are going to include a stage, which is number 11, and that's going to include the ability to host concerts and larger shows and other things. We believe that we should be able to seat around 2,500 people on this green. So we're excited about that opportunity to bring people in for larger events. Number 13 represents what we anticipate to be an education pavilion. Maybe open air, maybe glass enclosed. We're still working on some of those details, but a place where we can offer programs to the public. We may be able to allow others to offer programs to the public. Those could be both youth and adult, and really no limits on what potentially could happen there. Number 12 is currently the Education Garden. So that's in place as part of the Healthy Food Hub now, and that will stay. And then number 14, right now the Healthy Food Hub sort of goes into this parking lot and is a little bit larger, but we're going to reduce the Healthy Food Hub and add some parking so we make sure we can get everyone that's interested in coming to Town Center to Town Center. And then number 14, that's one of the areas that we're going to ask you to give us some feedback either tonight in this meeting, or we also have a survey that is out that we hope you've seen. And if not, we'll provide you with a link to that where we ask some questions about what would you like to see in the town center from an amenity standpoint, and really what would help you want to come to Town Center. Because we certainly know what we think might work, but we're really interested in what our residents think because we're building this for you to create that destination. So also in this town green, you'll see these numbers 9. That is the cottage retail. So that is going to be sort of a smaller boutique-y retail than you might normally see. With due respect to the cell phone stores and mattress stores of the world, that's not what we're looking to bring to the town green. We're looking to bring smaller, perhaps a bakery, perhaps a brewery, a coffee shop, things of that nature. We're already talking about a possible bike store where parts might be available for folks using the greenways, and also might be able to have quick repairs if they need them. So trying to be very unique and very directed to what would serve our community here. The other area that we're really going to ask you about in terms of what would you like to see is the area that I'm circling here that has sort of the 7s on it. And that's going to be the intersection of Foxglove and Carolina. And what we envision there is a retail plaza to where the roadways will come up slightly above grade, and then the sidewalk crossings will be slightly above grade. So it's sort of one larger flat area that pedestrians can cross safely and be able to go to and from perhaps the retail and whatever we may have in this flex space that we'll talk a little bit about. But we're going to potentially include public art in this area. So we're interested in what you might think would be appropriate for public art. And that's a part of our survey as well, is to give you a chance to share information with us in that regard. So beyond that, I'm going to turn it over Todd or Money to talk perhaps a little bit about what is going to be included on the other side of Carolina Street.
Okay, thank you, Brandon. Like Money introduced me, I'm Todd Rankin. I'm with Sing, and thank you all for being with us tonight. So on the other side of Carolina Street, the north side, probably start off with number 5 there, the library, since that's probably the best way to recognize and identify the location. If you go like plan north or up from 5, there's the yellow shaded building number 2. That is proposed to be a multifamily project there. It would be multi-level. In the middle, on the left-hand side, the little green, you can kind of make out that that's like water in the middle of a pool, so there'll be a courtyard there. And then Brandon had mentioned the parking garage, parking structure. That's in that other section of the yellow, kind of that 3-sided, and on the bottom of that is the number 3 where it's shaded blue. So that parking structure would be joint use. That would be open to the public on the ground floor, and it would also be for the residential units above. So that's going to be sort of like a mixed parking garage. And when you come in off of Town Hall Drive, the way you do now to access the parking area for the library, you would go straight into that parking area and then into the parking garage. You could park in there, or you could go straight through to Foxglove. So that's going to be kind of a minor street of sorts. And then up along Foxglove and Carolina Street is that area shaded in blue. That is proposed to be a ground floor retail area. And what we plan on doing is kind of being very selective with the retail we bring there. Coffee shops, ice cream shops, the things that you would want to come down for. We also try to avoid the kinds of spaces that Brandon mentioned. We really don't want the mattress stores here. We want the kind of spaces that are going to draw you and your families here. So on the other side of Foxglove, you can see there are some small yellow shaped or yellow colored rectangular buildings identified as number 1. Those are proposed to be townhouses, a straight up townhouse like you see on the other side of Jeremiah. And those townhouses would actually front Jeremiah. So you could park on the parallel parking spaces at Jeremiah and walk up your sidewalk right up to your front door. And then there's parking in the back and garage access in the back in the little green lawn area in the middle there. Just south of that, there's building number 4, the blue shaded, and that is what we're calling right now a flex retail, because we're working with some other users to go into that space as well. That's a little undefined as to what kind of users we may get. We have some really exciting thoughts. And then right outside of that is that item number 7 that Brandon mentioned earlier, and we're planning on making that a really nice pedestrian plaza area with artwork on those corners, and really tie in those 4 corners as a pedestrian kind of a hub, so to speak. That's why we're having the artwork and those kinds of things. So really, that's the main idea behind what you're looking at. Money, please feel free to bring up anything I may have missed.
The only thing I would add then is that this is all what we're calling, all of us, phase 1, and it's split into phase 1A and phase 1B. And phase 1A is the first part that doesn't include the townhouses like number 1 and number 4, but that phase 1B will start pretty soon after phase 1A is completed.
Thank you, Todd and Money. So got a couple of other images to share with our visitors. This is an image if you were flying a drone over some of the new housing that's going in across Town Hall and looking back over. You can see where the green would be, where we anticipate trees to be, cover to be, and then there's your library in its existing spot along with the multifamily. And again, you can see just the very top of the parking deck from a drone, but you won't see that from the street. So you'll really only know that there's residential there. And then the next image is if you were potentially sitting on top of what could be a restaurant or a bar over adjacent to that multifamily on the front, and you could be looking out over the town green. You could be there to just enjoy a nice evening. You could be there to enjoy a show. So lots of opportunities and potential for that. And we have addressed those places. So I also want to show you some imagery that Singh has shared with us. So this first slide is just what you might see in some aspects of the town green. Again, we're intending it to be largely open green space, but there will be some potential amenities included in there. And then, of course, up around the intersection, there's the opportunity for some of the public art that you may see in the background in some of those images as well. And then this is some imagery of what the cottage retail might look like. So you can see they're drawn as divided buildings, so there's access to and from. So if we're having larger events, we have this Foxglove Drive extension that we're going to build, but we'll also be able to block off so that we could have food trucks and vendor tents and other things back here. And visitors to the park, to the event, could come and go through all of these spaces. And again, this is just some of the imagery of what some of that might look like. And then this again is where we're really interested in your feedback, is what might we do in this retail plaza? You know, is it going to potentially be some static art? Is it going to be some sort of interactive art? Are we going to do things with some seating? And then also potentially a water feature. And that feature could be here, but this could also be in that welcome area where you saw the what is currently the Healthy Food Hub. And so some of this is a potential there as well. Just one more of these. Again, this is some of what could be in that retail plaza area, whether it's, you know, just some seating area with open space, with some tree cover, different opportunities that you could see going into there. So as we ask you to take the survey tonight, what we're looking for is sort of answers to these questions. You know, first and foremost, what amenities or what activities would make you, your family, your friends want to come to the town center? And then also, what type of activities do you usually participate when you're visiting a park? We want to understand what will help people feel at home and feel like this has utility to them. And then what type of public art at the town center, and just some different questions about what style. Is it permanent or does it in and out? Is it interactive? So lots of opportunities for feedback there. And then also, would the presence of a children's museum make you more likely to come to the town center? As we evaluate options that could come here, what would it mean to you? What means would you use to get to the town center? You know, we've talked about connectivity to the Greenway. So if you're familiar with the area, we have the Indian Creek Trailhead right there. And then we have that Greenway going back up towards Shiloh, where it connects to the Shiloh Greenway. As we wrap up the Morrisville Carpenter Road construction project and the intersection at Town Hall, you'll be able to go through a protected intersection there to get back to the Hatcher Creek and Crabtree Creek Greenways. And then we also have a new Greenway planned potentially for the future that would be behind Church Street, running from about Morrisville Carpenter Road up to McCrimmon Parkway for more accessibility in the town. So lots of ways to get there. We and Sing are both very committed to sustainability in this project. We both think it's very important. And then again, what other sustainable attributes do you think would be important to include in this project? So with that, I am going to, there is my contact information, and this will be recorded and posted on the website if you need it. And that is our website to visit for more information. And then this is contact information for Sing Development. Sorry, Money, I ran out of room, Money and Todd. I got two names on there, but want to share that with people.
And Brandon, we'll drop the link to the survey in the chat. So anyone who hasn't taken that yet, you go ahead and pull that up. You can also share that with your neighbors, share it on social media, and that's going to be open until October 11th.
So we are happy to take any questions you may have. One of or more of us will make sure that we can figure out an answer for you. And we can also certainly go back to that slide presentation if you have specific questions and would like us to point something out in there as well. You all can feel free to unmute yourselves. You can use the react option to raise a hand. You could drop it in the chat. Hey, Steph.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm on my phone. Okay. I think what comes to mind is, so I'm in like one of these, I've been here for a while and I'm in a transitional. We moved here, my daughter was really small. Now she's grown up and in college. And so I like the splash pad and I like the idea of a children's museum. I think that's good too. I think we need to have stuff for everybody, which is, I don't know how you're going to do that, but not just kids, but teens and seniors as well. And, and I think the cottages help with coffee places and little restaurants, maybe to get just couples to go out as well. I don't know if you can do that. Is that? We think we can, and we hope we can. Because we do really want to make this a place that's active, day and night, weekdays, weeknights, weekends. So we're trying to bring a good variety to this to make it, active. And again, this is phase one of the project. We don't want to lose sight that as we activate this portion, that will only better support future phases. But I also want to let Money or Todd speak to the, what can we and potentially can't we do in this area.
Yeah, thank you, Steph, for your comments. All good ones, and we are thinking of all of the different uses and activities and amenities here that could bring people of all ages. We talk about splash pads, and you think about kids, and that's great. And one of the things we want to make sure that we have accommodations for are grandparents to bring those kids, as well as the teenagers and everything else. So we very much want this to be a space where everybody of all ages wants to be and feel welcome and have something to do and be part of.
Steph, any other thoughts or questions?
I mean, an arboretum, something like little area where you can walk around a little, and people bring their dogs too. I don't necessarily want a dog park there, but it'd be nice to have some. I'm crazy. I bring my dogs everywhere.
Sure. So
well,
I think
to be I think a senior, something that they can, I like personally like the history of the town. I kind of like that incorporated into it. So that could be something you guys used to do the walkway, the history walkway. I don't know if that we still have that anymore.
We
or
do.
that's-
Yep, we
Oh,
have
okay.
signage that you can follow on a walk that talks about the history of the town. We also have, of course, our history panels inside town hall, not necessarily for a walk, but if you visit town hall. So I think, in regards to the idea of some open space or some, space to walk around. So if you look at number 15 on the map, that's really an undefined space right now. So it's a little apart from the town green. So we agree with you. We don't intend to put a dog park here, but really only because we're intending to put a dog park just down the street at the intersection of Town Hall Drive and Morrisville Carpenter Road. So we are working on a project there that we are giving council an update very soon, and then potentially moving to formal design later this year. And there is a budget item for a dog park that's approved in the FY23 budget. So that's going to be a nice also connection to this. Would also share that the town is working with the Morrisville Veterans Memorial Foundation to create a Morrisville Veterans Memorial that'll be placed on site at Indian Creek Trailhead. So really a lot going on in this area that all ties together nicely in terms of, a place to visit, things to see, things to do.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah, that sounds really great. Oh.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else with a question? Again, you can just unmute yourself. You can drop it in the chat. We're happy to get them either way.
Lisa has a question.
Hi, my name is Elisa, and my family and I moved here in Morrisville in 2018. So my husband has been living in Briar Creek for the past years that he's been here in NC. And one reason that drew us to Morrisville is, number one, it's a quieter town, and I like the idea that the historic downtown is being developed, but also the plans are not too flashy. It doesn't look like a very urban downtown district. So I do appreciate that. Um, I'm currently a member of the Morrisville Garden community, and I've met Liz in in one instance when she visited the garden. My husband has met the town mayor as well, and so I think one thing that we shared with Liz is if there's gonna be a green space, or will the town incorporate the same community garden in Morrisville, because right now we're very happy with the educational garden, and I think that has been a draw to some of the families living in the area. So building up on what Steph shared, something like an arboretum in the plan, will that be incorporated sometime? Because I think I've lived in Manila, and I've also been to Singapore frequently, in some parts of South Korea. And one big draw was their mixed space, green space. So there's a mix of the botanical gardens in Singapore, which is a very nice roundabout of just green space and commercial development. But then the thing is that with our climate that's changing, it becomes too hot in the summer and also humid. So that's why the developers there put in some misters or misting fountains just to cool it down. So I guess that could also help if it's not too costly. But I guess my input is I hope that the town also considers rotating a community garden and the educational garden, because these green spaces have been a big draw to families here. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm happy to speak to the question about the education garden and community garden, and then I may ask Todd or Money to speak more to the what we can potentially do if it's in the town green area this time, or if not, again, we've got another 14 acres to develop that I think has the possibility as well. So if you can see on the drawing, and I'll pop that back up just for a second, the education garden is remaining. So number 12 is the education garden. And so that will stay essentially exactly where it is. We will probably offer to some support to what we can do to make that fit sort of the newer look of the town green. But we are committed to keeping that education garden there because we also very much appreciate our relationship with the Morrisville Community Garden Group. And actually, I was talking with some staff this morning. We have an interim Parks and Rec director that we're sharing a lot of new information with to get her up to speed. And we had a lot of conversation about the community garden and the education garden. And we are actually in the process of setting up a meeting with the group because I know you have a new president. Donna has stepped down. So we're looking forward to meeting her and to have a conversation about what our plans are and how that potentially impacts both the education garden and the community garden. And we would certainly hope to continue both. And the community garden is a little bit more of a discussion for a future phase of whether it stays where it is or if it potentially moves in this area or if we consider another location. But we are certainly supportive of continuing the community garden as well. Todd, would you like to speak to what some of the options might be in regards to an arboretum or other plants and that sort of thing?
Sure. And thank you for your comments as well. And I think there's possibly some opportunities that we could explore some of that right around the area of 15 on the plan. That was an area that we are looking to see if we can preserve any trees that might be there and kind of act as a little bit of a like a pass through, like a Lacey kind of nature pass through as you come into the parking area there on the bottom right by number 14 and 16. And make your way in and across and through to the green area there at number 10. So I think that's something that we could consider. I like the idea of the little misters. You know, we talk about a splash pad, maybe some misters on those hot summer days would be nice to walk through. So those are great comments, and we'll definitely consider those as we move forward. And like Brandon said, if it's something that we think needs a little bit more space and we just don't have it here, we could always explore it on the second phase. But we will definitely look and see if that's something we can put into this plan as well.
Thank you, Todd. Alyssa, any other questions? And if not, we can also open it up to anyone else that's on the call. I see we've had a couple of others join us, so we're happy to take any questions you may have. Even if you think it's something we've already talked about, we're happy to jump back into it. All right. Mayor Pro Tem, want to give you an opportunity if you have any comments you'd like to share or thoughts you'd like to offer to, of course, our group, which I know you've talked with a couple of times, but also to our other guests on the call.
Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, I want to thank all of you that were on the call that took the time tonight to hear the presentation. This is not the end or the last time for you to share your input. As you heard from Brandon and the team, there's a survey for you to take advantage of now. And I believe now I've already forgot, Maria, you said October 10th, right? Am I? Is that the correct?
11th. And, yep.
11.
Yep, and it's in the chat, easy to find for everyone, and please share it.
Thank you. So please share with friends and neighbors, and if you think of anything else, please share. And even after the 11th, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or anyone, but your input is very important, and we want to make sure that this town center meets the needs of all of our community. And anything you want to share with us is very, very welcome. So thank you. And thank you all for doing a fabulous job, not only tonight, but the other day. This team was out at our Healthy Food Hub right near our education garden, presenting to the public as well over 2 different time periods. And I thank you for your time on that day too.
All right. I want to make a sort of a last call for anyone else that might have any questions they'd like to ask. Okay, well, if not, again, we really appreciate you all joining us and taking your time to be here with us to hear more about this town center project. We are all collectively very excited about it. It's going to be a transformational opportunity for the town of Morrisville. You know, we are gonna create the downtown that really was never here. And we think that that will be an amazing win for our residents, for our community. And we'll be the place that people want to come to on the western side of the county to enjoy our town green and our businesses and our cottage retail. And there'll also be fantastic opportunities for, you know, residential opportunities. So all those folks that are out there that are still trying to get here to live in Morrisville, Sing is going to help us with that issue and provide some units both in the multifamily building and in townhomes. So again, please, if you have not already done so, complete our survey. We would love to hear back from you on those topics. And please, again, as Maria suggested, share that. We've got about 5 days left, and we are using that information as part of our presentation to council later this month. So that's why we're closing it on the 11th, so we can gather that data and summarize it and then share it with council along with some other updates about this project. Other than that, I want to thank you all again, and please have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
See you all.
Thank you.